guys, how's it going? Today we have kind of a menagerie of projects to work on. We're starting here in the greenhouse. We need to pinch our Snapdragons. When we're done with that, I've just picked up a few flats of pansies to plant up just a few more pots around the garden. There's two up front kind of by the mulberry tree, the Galloway urn on the west side of our house, and the two urns behind the Hartley. And then we've got some iris to transplant, which I don't think it's the best time to transplant iris. I think that's more toward the end of the season, but I need to get them out of the way because they're right where a new lane is going to go tomorrow. So it's kind of now or never. And while we're working on these projects, Paul is going to be working on cleaning out the 4 quadrants in the parterre garden right behind the Hartley. You know, we planted those purple kale in there last fall, and they have lasted and looked beautiful all through the fall, winter, a lot of the spring. In fact, I mean, we could still eke out a little bit of time, but I was walking by them last night and they're looking tired. You know, they're brown around the edges. If you look at them from a distance, they still look awesome, but not when you're walking up close. So it's time to clean those out and remulch that space. So we will show you that progress as well, because that's always satisfying. But first off, let's tackle these Snapdragons. You can see they're looking really good. When they get up about this tall, it's a good idea to come in and pinch out the top growth. So we take this one, you can see, you know, the top little tuft of leaves. I'm going to go down, I've got snips to do this, but this one I'll do with my thumb. And you just pinch out that top growth. And by pinching out that top growth, you're going to be encouraging that plant to produce a ton of side branches with blooms. So you'll have many more blooms on one single plant than you would if you didn't pinch it. Because if you leave that top growth, the plant will want to create more of a tall, like, leader and not as many side branches. I have done it both ways though. I have planted them unpinched and I've planted them pinched. You still get a lot of flowers. So if it's a skip that you forget or skip or whatever, unless you're growing them for high productivity because you're going to be selling them, like in that case, definitely pinch them. But if you're just growing them to enjoy them and to cut a few flowers here and there, from my experience, doesn't really matter. Okay, let's get one more of these close up. So you can see this top growth here and the stem right below it. I am going to go in with my snips right above that next set of leaves, and we're going to snip that top growth out just like that. So that's what we're left with, and this plant is now going to produce more branching at this spot rather than keep trying to grow upward. One more for a super duper close look. We've got the top growth with the stem right below it, and pinch. Like so. And it is a little bit hard to do, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, you kind of want to just keep your plants intact, but you will get more flowers this way. So I've got 3 flats to do this with. It shouldn't take long. All right, so this flat is done. You can see the difference between what a pinched flat looks like and an unpinched flat right there. And that took, what, like 3 or 4 minutes? I don't know. There's our little pile of tops right there. All right, let's get these 2 done. All done. Now you do want to make sure that they have multiple sets of leaves. So like in my case, I could have waited a little bit longer, but we've got our first set of leaves here, second set of leaves here. So I took it down right above the second set of leaves, which is what I did on all of these. But I've also done it to where I left 3 or 4 sets of leaves too, when the seedlings were a little bit bigger if I get to it later in the season. But these are looking really good. I'm real happy with their growth. They'll be in the greenhouse just sitting here for the next month and a half, or maybe even a little bit more than that, depending on how our weather goes. And I am fertilizing once a week with this right here. And at this point, like when the seedlings get this big, these are echinops right here. And then we've got Lisianthus right here. When they get, you know, this size, I'm doing full strength fertilizer once a week. And we don't need to do that today because I just did that yesterday. I've had a couple of weird flats of seeds this year. My onions and my echinacea. It was like some of the seeds were way behind, so I seeded both of the flats. Let me show you. Here's our flat of echinacea right here, and you can see that some are up and looking like pretty robust and big, and some are just starting to germinate. I don't know if you can see that little itty bitty seedling, and there's another one that's small, another one right there, another one right here. I mean, they're coming, and I think we've got pretty close to complete germination. There might be one or, well, just one one cell. Let's see, yeah, that doesn't have anything in it. No, two. There's 2 cells. So out of 50, that's pretty darn good. But my onions over here, they did the exact same thing. So I seeded yellow sweet Spanish Utah. Hold on, let me turn this off. Oh, that blower right there, it keeps air between our 2 layers of plastic, but it's kind of a loud noise. Anyway, so yellow sweet Spanish in the back, Walla Wallas here, and then candy. And this flat sat here, and Walla Wallas were pretty much the only thing that came up, and only a few. And they got kind of tall, and then all of a sudden the rest of them just decided to come up like in the last few days. And they've been out here for a while. So I don't know what the deal is there. But we're gonna have a very full tray of onions, that's for sure. Okay, this goes back on now. And really, in the end, as long as they come up, who cares? I guess. They're just staggering in their growth rate. Okay, now that that job is done, we can head out and start filling up some planters with pansies. All right, so these are the first 2 pots I want to tackle today. You can see that we still have a few white pansies from last fall, and I'll see what I can do to clean those up. There's also some ivy. I think the ivy's pretty much toast though. And this was an annual grass that I will pull out. And we've got just a menagerie of beautiful colors here. We've got some blue. These are so pretty. Look at these. The dark purple with the lavender. It's starting to get a little bit breezy. We actually have a cool down coming. Supposed to get some rain tomorrow, and all of next week is supposed to be kind of in the low 50s as highs. This week we've been in the high 60s, even 70 degrees. I like either one, but yeah, makes for a little bit of a breezier day. We also have these sweet pale yellow violas, and these are sorbet yellow, pink violas. I love that. That looks like Easter to me. And then we've got a few of the larger yellow pansies with the purple face. I think in these I'm going to use a mixture of the blue with the purple, and that's it. I just want to put a little bit of spring color, just a touch, just to elevate the look of these just a little bit, because these are right at the entryway, like, you know, our main lane, and this is the first pair of pots you see. So it'd be nice to have them looking a little bit more fresh, but I didn't really want to do any centerpiece or anything like that, because again, it's probably going to be 1.5 to 2 months of them being in here before we pull them out for summer stuff. I brought a couple of shovels out here and some extra potting soil. Let's get these done. And here they are all done. Simple, but colorful and beautiful. I love them. So just a mix of the 2 blues. We've got I think these are called True Blue, and I don't know, do these have a name? Oh, Beaconsfield. And they're just so pretty. Oh, I love it. 2 down, 3 more to go. Let's head to the urns behind the Hartley. Just kidding, we're gonna do the Galloway urn first, because I realized that the painters just were leaving for lunch and they are working on this side of the house, and I wanted to try to stay out of their way, so we'll hop in and get this one done, and then we'll move on to the Hartley urns. And I think I just wanna pack this one out with just this sweet little viola. Let's top it up first. Look at this, they've got all the windows painted. This is actually the only side of the house and a very small portion of the front. You know, if we wrap around this way, there's just this flower bed right here, but this is the only side of the house that actually has flower bed right up to the side of the house. So I'm super thankful that they were able to do it early this spring, because, you know, it doesn't really matter. They can walk around in here. They're being so careful, which I do really appreciate, but there's not as much going on in here at the moment, you know, as opposed to later on in the season. They're also going to paint all of this menagerie white, so it blends in with the wall. I'm so excited. Oh, you guys, it just feels like the biggest treat to get this done, because there were just so many areas that I couldn't even clean and make them look clean, because they were just needing a fresh coat of paint. We'll put a little bit of soil in here and get this one planted up. Perfect. Isn't that the sweetest looking container? I'm loving the simplicity. And these, you guys, with the weather that we've been having, and even next week with weather in the 50s, these will still start putting on growth and they'll fill this thing in. When we get ready to pull them, I bet you they're like this, like a big poof and bouquet of flowers. Okay, 2 more pots left. These turned out really pretty. I was able to use 1 6-pack of the Beaconsfield. So there's 1, 2, 3, and then filled in the rest of the way with the light blue. These are the leaf motif urns from Henry's studio, and I think they're just the perfect scale for back here. And I love seeing the fresh new color. And we also had enough flowers to do a couple pots in front of the chicken coop. And I think I'm gonna be able to do our 2 urns that flank our front door once they're done with the house. Here's the window box. It looks so sweet. I used 1 6-pack of the Beaconsfield, and I kind of just did one of these numbers with it. And then the light yellow violas tucked in between and in front of them. I love that combination. And then I used all of the pansies that were bigger, that have the purple face, to ring around this spruce right here. She's a spent flower. And this is what we're left with. A whole bunch of yellow, which I think would look really pretty in those urns up front. So I'm just gonna hang on to these for a couple of days. I don't think it's gonna take them too much longer. They are just working so fast on the house. But we're right in the area where the irises are that I need to dig. I am gonna have to take a break and go change my shoes. I've been wearing sandals all morning, so I need to put on real shoes since I'm gonna be digging. But right here, you might remember we had a fence that went, you know, straight here all the way to the other fence over there. So Chad is coming tomorrow to make a lane, which will come in about where we moved that locust tree yesterday, and it'll go right over where these iris are. And I cannot remember what color these are. I think they're black, or like such a deep purple that they look black. They might be yellow, they could be white. Those are the 3 colors that we have back here. They might be white. Maybe I can see them in a tour, like an older tour in bloom. Anyway, we need to get them dug. And it's quite the nice size patch. It's like a 4x4 patch. Thankfully, irises are super easy to move because you only have to bury them about this deep. So let's go change shoes and then we'll be back at it. So here we are, we've got the right shoes on and Samantha's here to help me. Thanks, babe. So basically, we're just gonna be cleaning these up and digging out whichever ones are still good, because you can still see that there was a tire that at one point went through the whole patch. This side of the patch looks really good and healthy. Looks like a tire went through right here. And if the rhizomes are okay, then we're great. It might just be the tops that have been damaged, but if the rhizomes down there have been squished or cracked like this one right here, then we might not be able to save all of them, but we'll be able to save quite a number. So we're just gonna dig and fill up the back of the gator and relocate them somewhere else. So let's just get after it, get this project done. All right, guys, we got them all. And I just use my shovel to make kind of manageable size pieces to pick up. So in an effort to do that, I did cut through some of the rhizomes. But I think in the end, I'm just gonna plop each section that I cut out down into a hole. And in the end, we'll have some come up. Some of them will not make it, but it'll be kind of a natural way of them thinning themselves out, I think. And then I just raked everything kind of back into the hole, minus the big stuff. I got the big stuff in a pop-up bag here, but all of this, including the irrigation box and any irrigation lines through this area, they'll all be torn up in an effort to get that lane through here. I'm gonna back up and kind of give you the trajectory of the lane. So we're standing back in the driveway now. So right about here, the lane will come through and kind of curve back this way to behind the barn. Oh my gosh, here she comes. Ah! Hi, babe. So we will still have flower bed on that side, and then of course all of this, then we can start developing that a little bit more. But it'll be nice to have this area connected, because what we're doing, and I know I've explained it before, but we do intend on having an overhang built off of the barn at some point. So something like this, so that we can park our gators back here, and we just want it to be nice and tidy. We're gonna have the gravel brought out to about where the grass is. And Chad, while he's here, he's also going to bring in a bunch of dirt, and he's going to mound up the berms a little bit bigger and wider, and we're going to create a nice big kind of mixed screen right there. And we got everything out of the way, pretty much. In terms of plants, moving things, all the things that we could do without his big machine like the Espalier pear, I'm guessing that's going to happen tomorrow, because he'll probably need to move that out before he starts, you know, scraping all of this and making it all leveled up. And I think I'm just gonna tuck these in the south garden on the back side of one of the lanes over there, because I'm not exactly sure what color it is. We'll plant them and let them bloom, and then we can divide them later on if we wanna move this specific color to other spots of the garden. So that's all that we've got to do. We gotta go out to the south garden, find a spot, dig some holes. Are you coming with me? What'd you find, a stick? Very nice. That one's a pretty one. It's kind of red. Look at that. It kind of matches your shirt. That's beautiful.
Tie it up.
Yeah. Okay, we are at the back side of one of the flower beds in the south garden, and we've got some aronia. The variety name is escaping me at the moment. And then we've got a spirea right here, and then a dogwood, a yellow dogwood that gets quite large. And I'm thinking that we just put the iris in right here. I think that would be a beautiful thing to see, because these, while they flower, the iris will be a beautiful spring accent, which we don't have right here yet. So it's perfect. Did I just see Benjamin? Could have swore I saw him, but where? Ah! And there they are, all done. They created quite a nice drift back here. I backed them away far enough from the dogwood, you know, so that the dogwood could do its thing, and, you know, far enough away from the lane that they won't kind of flop over. But I think they're going to be awesome. And like I said, it's going to kind of be a case of survival of the fittest, see which ones take off, see which ones don't. And in the end, I think it'll be a really nice show back here. It just dawned on me that I forgot to put biotone in every single hole. So before I water them in, I'm going to sprinkle some biotone over the top, and we'll water them all in place here. We haven't mulched out here yet, so I wasn't super careful with where I was putting dirt. And the mulch is a compost, and that will be tucked in around all of these plants as well, which they should like. But they're all surface level planting, and which makes it very, very easy. That was pretty quick. As quick as transplanting can go, I think. And it was either that or lose them all, so I'm just very happy that they're out here and they have a chance. Okay, the last thing that we have to do after I water these in is run to the Hartley and see how the parterre garden looks. In fact, let's play the footage right now. It looks so good. Look at this. I did come along and I trimmed a couple of boxwoods that had some pretty severe winter kill. I need to do a few more, like this one right here. You can see the tops don't look that great on that one, but most of them are looking a lot better than I thought. I think they're starting to push some new growth, and having the kale out and fresh mulch down, oh, it looks so great. And the new pots right there with the pretty blue and purple pansies. And we've got a whole bunch of violas that have reseeded themselves in the area, and I'm just gonna let them do their thing. There's some right here too. In fact, I love this one. Look at that color. Look at that. I think that is just the sweetest thing ever. Well, you guys, what a productive day. I'm so happy with everything that got buttoned up today. And even just seeing just pansies, not a super complicated container. You don't need a whole lot of things to make a statement. Just 100% pansies for that color and kind of that wow factor. And for the cost, I mean, when you can find them in 4 and 6 packs, it really, when compared to other things you could be putting in pots, it's so much less expensive. And I just enjoy it so much. Even if it's just for a couple of months, I mean, that's a couple of months out of the year that you get to really love looking at your containers. And I'm also glad to have the Snapdragons done, pinched back. I'm considering putting up one of those hoops for the Snapdragons with some insect netting, because they were one of the crops that tended to have thrips more than others out there. So I may be doing that later. And then having the irises moved, I can see that area right now. We're just chilling, sitting here behind the Hartley. Right there. Nice to see that all cleared out and that we're giving those plants a fighting chance. And then Paul did such a beautiful job with the mulch and clean out right here. I just, couldn't be happier. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.